What's going on, my PT peeps? My Walking Dead family, my fighters. I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 18, and these callbacks, Easter eggs, flashbacks, connections, whatever you want to call them, a bunch of different things to talk about, break down, have fun with it. So obviously, spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead, and make sure you watch to the end of the video because we have a very, very interesting one that I think could be very telling down the road. Overall, Season 10, Episode 18 has the fans divided. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things Walking Dead. Find Me was Season 10, Episode 18's title. Daryl wrote that in the note to Leah that she never read. Dog was highlighted a lot in this episode, and I have to say he was probably one of the best parts. And some people are asking, did we really need a dog backstory? The answer is yes. I don't know if we needed this much of an episode, but either way, Leah had dog. Well, Leah had dog's mother, and then dog, and how cute is that, right? I mean, it was one of the best parts of the episode, seeing puppy dog meet Daryl. And I said it before in my review, Leah really let dog go wherever he wanted, right? I mean, what if dog went away and never came back? That'd be pretty heartbroken. Look at the cute little paws. Puppy dog is kissing Daryl and Daryl's loving it. You know, it's a great thing when you see a dog on the show. And I think there was a study, or at least an article, that showed that people are more empathetic, have more empathy towards animals and dogs rather than people. But we got to see dog as a puppy. We saw Daryl's camp before this camp, and it was a lot of flashbacks and time jumps of 5 years ago and a year later and then 10 months later and this month later. But Daryl had a camp. He had that camp and this camp, and then a new camp, and then another camp. And if you think about it, why didn't he just stay at the cabin? Because of bad memories that he left Leah behind. But it just takes me back to the camp that we saw in Season 9. And remember, when we had the time jump 6 years later, this was probably what the story was. This is a backtrack episode that we probably weren't supposed to have. So do things connect with Carol's story and the kingdom and Henry and Ezekiel and stuff at the kingdom? And then Henry and Carol went there to go meet Daryl and to check on him. So the story kind of fits, you know, with the timeline of things when Carol came by to see Daryl, and then you see the wing going on Daryl's back right patch. So it was nice to see stuff connect, and continuity is a big thing with the world of The Walking Dead, where everything we watch, right? Stuff needs to make sense. And I think this was a pretty good job. Again, Season 9, we saw Daryl and Dog came out of nowhere in Daryl's camp, and he kind of learned, hopefully, from what to do and what not to do over the time frame. But Carol was coming by to talk with Daryl at different times, and we know that they care about each other. Yeah, there's a rift, and there's some problems, and, you know, Daryl's fed up with Carol, and Carol was checking up on him, but Carol, at the end of the day, cares about Daryl. And, you know, when we saw Carol and Daryl talking in the flashback, you see the symbolic nature of this. Well, maybe you didn't, but you see a clear divide between them. They're on opposite sides of things, well, the water. And we saw the shack, the makeshift shelter, and we saw the weather and the storm come around. And when the water came in and saw Daryl's frustration boil over because he lost the map of where he was looking for Rick and had to start over, it reminded me of the weather and the barn in Season 5 when that big storm came out of nowhere and all the walkers were coming towards the barn. It just reminded me of the weather, Daryl, frustrations. It's just, I don't know if it was a callback or a connection at all, but just to me, it reminded me of that, right? But it also reminded me of things that Daryl, this was his like inner self having frustrations, and there's a storm brewing in Daryl. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I just saw some connecting points there with Daryl, the storms and the two storms. But also when Daryl was in the barn in Season 5, the walkers are coming towards him. He's trying to brace the doors of the barn, and he puts his arms on there, and he's the one holding back the walkers. And I didn't have a place to talk about this before, but when he was pushing on the door, the next person that comes to help him is Maggie. So it's Daryl and Maggie blocking the walkers from getting in the barn. I should have talked about this in Season 10, Episode 17, but it was Daryl and Maggie pushing the door of the shipping container from the walkers, not letting them out. I thought it was a nice callback. Now, Daryl was fishing in Season 9. He had a makeshift spear that he whittled with a branch. And then Carol was fishing, and she actually caught fish. We never saw Daryl catch any fish in Season 9. Carol and also Leah caught fish. So everybody's catching fish but Daryl, which I thought was pretty funny. So we have both the women catching fish. Daryl's taking out walkers in the water in Season 9, which I thought was pretty funny that Daryl is this big outdoorsman guy and he's struggling to catch fish. I'm going to put this fish in my pocket. I thought that was pretty funny. Is that a fish in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? Daryl, you stink. Take that fish out of your pocket, right? Now, we know that Daryl went to the cabin with Dog and Carol. And obviously, this is where the story took place. And it was Daryl's cabin with Leah. Well, it was Leah's cabin, and Daryl was there with her. And again, he probably should have stayed with her. Look at the doghouse back there. But you see, it reminds a lot of people of the cabin shack place that Daryl and Beth found in previous seasons. I know it's not the same cabin, not the same location, but it just reminds a lot of people for that. I could see it, the way it looks, the story that was kind of being told there. We got a little more of the backstory with Daryl, with Beth here in the story, and also the backstory of Daryl and Leah in a cabin. Nice connections. And I have to say, this was hilarious. I think it was one of the funniest parts when Daryl was like, okay, I'm going to flirt here. I'm going to catch this fish, chuck it at the door, and nothing. She didn't come out. But then later, she takes the same fish and throws it back at Daryl, hits Daryl in the head. Pretty funny. I thought it was one of the best parts. And it's not an Easter egg or callback by any means that I know of. It's just funny. Also, did you see some of the red here? You know how I feel about the color red. Red on the little lure here and red on the barrel or whatever. Red on her shovel. Is that a callback to the red-handled machete with Rick? I don't know. But when have we seen other red-handled things in The Walking Dead? Not really that many of them, so I like that possible callback. Also, the picture frame, right? So we saw, is that a Polaroid picture? You know, the other time we saw a Polaroid picture was with Maggie and Glenn. The picture frame is a little different here. I don't know if it had the marking on the edge. So you see this picture frame is pretty clean. It was broken, the picture is gone. Previously, you see the paint, the black paint in the corner is gone. Well, scratched off, and is that telling that Leah took the picture when she left? Also, the grave. We know that this is Matthew's grave. The only really other time that we saw a grave like this, and I know it's a cross, is Carl's grave. So I know it's just a grave and you put, a cross on it. So really that's what people do. But we really haven't seen this much on The Walking Dead besides Carl's grave and Matthew's grave. Maybe a couple other times, but not enough of significance over the course of the series. Now, Leah's tattoo has me wondering. I can't get a better picture of that. Is she in the military? Was she a Marine? Does she have military training? I'm not sure, but Daryl and Leah got it on ever so subtly. Do you think that Leah was taken or left with the Commonwealth, the Civic Republic, the Reapers, or somebody else? Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Now, this is a nice callback. I definitely saw a connection point with the way they shot it. What do you think of this photo right here with a double-barrel shotgun and right here, right? Now, I don't think Leah was connected with the Whispers, but these two are the only times we really saw a double-barreled shotgun highlighted like this, Alpha and Leah. And I'm sure everybody caught this, right? Daryl, Leah, sitting in a tree, well, hiding behind a tree, just like Enid and Carl were actually inside a tree hiding from walkers, right? So we saw that and I was like, yep, that's a callback to Enid and Carl. And also this kind of whole romance and will they get together, won't they get together? Enid and Carl, Leah and Daryl, they were in the woods. It just reminded me so much of a relationship like high school. And that's kind of what Enid and Carl were. The same thing like Daryl and Leah were kind of acting like that. Neither want to make the first move. They want to be with each other, but don't they? It just kind of reminded me of that. I don't know. Did you get that feeling that it was kind of like a relationship like Carl and Enid? Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Now, this is a great one. Everybody knew this was like my brother. Did you think it was Myrtle he was talking about? Maybe at first you were like, my brother, that was his brother. And Daryl found Zombie Merle or Walker Merle and put him down and was very sad. But Daryl was clearly talking about Rick because he said he never found the body and that's who he's been out looking for. So will Daryl and Rick finally ever be reunited? They have to, right? They're brothers. They need to find each other at some point in the series or movies. Ultimately, this is the logo for The Walking Dead. You see the 3 lines in it. Look behind Carol, the 3 throwing knives. Now, this may be reaching, but it looks pretty similar, right? Look at Carol's spot in the photo with the 3 lines, the 3 knives. I mean, man, I just saw the connection or possible connection. And this is last but not least. 10 months later. Look at the time frame. 10 months later. A normal pregnancy takes 9 to 10 months from conception. So what's up with that, right? Is Leah going to come back around with a baby Daryl? A little ass kicker 2.0. A little Daryl. Or a little Darylita. I don't know. It could be a girl. But do you think that Leah comes back around and these two get reunited? Thank you guys. That's all the flashbacks, callbacks, and Easter eggs that I saw. Did I miss any? Like I said several times, let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Thank you guys. Stay safe and tell them, Daryl.